Steve on Story again, and today we're talking about why talent may well be overrated. But let's unpack that for just a minute here. Talent gets attention, it gets forgiven for disciplinary transgressions for a while. But talent doesn't hold a team together, it can be divisive. In fact, like other virtues, it must be weighed against its total impact to the mission. I've worked with extraordinarily gifted people who were a little bit unreliable or temperamental or inconsistent, or people who cost time and energy and who counted on the dazzle of their talent to overcome any cost their contributions added to the effort. In many cases, it was worth it, and in some cases, absolutely not. We've all heard the not a team player thought process and maybe poo pooed it because of the non team player was a star. But I have worked with very talented people, and I would trade a diva for a competent actor or crew member every time. And I've also worked with some very ordinary people who became the very backbone of entire productions. Because when things get hard, and I promise you, always do, talent doesn't always steady the room. In fact, sometimes it's the talent that got us in the whirlwind, twisting in the wind in the first place. But what does steady the room? Presence. In theater, you don't need brilliance every night. You need someone that shows up the same way every night, delivers the dependable, well vetted material. Without question, a Robin Williams level talent will elevate the material and performances of everybody else. But that's not just talent, that's presence on their part. And it increases the presence on others very often. The key player knows their role, they know their responsibility, they carry those things without complaint. And leadership is absolutely no different because at some point people stop asking, is this leader impressive? And they start asking, can I relax when they're in charge? Are they effective? I was doing a show a bunch of years ago with a very old and memory fragile lead who was an absolute audience favorite and beloved by all of us, but who might get lost in the story along the way. We had an executive producer say, when Walt and Delise and Rick are in those scenes, I just relax because I know they're going to get us through whatever happens and back onto the show that we rehearsed. The old guy had a lot of talent. He was wonderful, great charisma, charm. But Walt, Delise, and Rick had presence and the ability to steer the ship back into the lane in character. That's the real test of some of these things. Tomorrow, we're going to venture into looking at what happens inside a team when leaders quietly break that trust. That's tomorrow. Steve on Story. I'll see you right back here.